Yeah, for us here in the States, they didn't air part two until July 13th. And that almost 2 months after. And so the reason for this was Columbine. When Columbine happened, um, a lot of people were blaming it on the media. Like, oh, he listened. They found out like the Trenchcoat Mafia kids listened to Marilyn Manson. And so people were like, well, that's why they show up to school. It's the influence of Marilyn Manson. And so this episode has a bunch of high school kids taking weapons out of their robes and battling the mayor with them. And then they blow up the school. And so the WB announced, like, we want to wait until, well, this wasn't what they announced, but this was their thinking. They wanted to wait until school was out to air this because if any like copycat things happened at graduation ceremonies, they were going to get immediately blamed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised that hasn't happened.
Oh yeah, it should.
I really am surprised that nothing. Maybe it has. I know that would be huge news if like there.
Yeah,
was.
yeah. No, nothing quite on this level, but
I'll be honest with you. Like, I understand why they did that, but I didn't even think about I knew that they delayed this episode, but I knew it was because of the Columbine thing, but I didn't really know exactly why. But watching the episode, and even between watching it and now, I didn't even think twice about that. That didn't even occur to me. So it didn't even click with me. So if you didn't bring it up, I never would have thought about it.
yeah. Sarah Michelle Gellar and Whedon both, or as you call them, Joss, they both right away came out against it. Sarah Michelle Gellar called them like puritanical assholes, and Joss Whedon said like pirate it. Like, if you're a fan of Buffy, fucking pirate that episode.
Why didn't you do it?
I didn't know how. I was 13, 12 or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, but Seth Green said he thought it was sensible. So
wow,
there's dissension in the ranks. But anyway, it finally airs July 13th, 1999, opposite the MLB All-Star game, Logan, where the American League beat the National League 4-1. And the MVP, I was rooting for Buffy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You like baseball, kind of.
Yeah, but I was definitely watching Buffy this night.
Okay. Buffy, but baseball is way longer than you probably could turn Buffy off and then tune into the
I might have done that. I might have done that. Yeah. But I missed the highlight of the night because the MVP was Pedro Martinez, who became the first guy in All-Star game history to strike out all his batters as a pitcher.
Wow.
All the batters are all-stars.
That's that is honestly that is a true feat. That is awesome. And nobody's done it since then. That's the first.
I have no idea, but that was definitely the first.
That is wild. I don't even know what the comparison would be in basketball. Like, you just like block every single person's shot. I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out to him, Pedro Martinez.
And the winner of the home run derby was Ken Griffey Jr. All right.
Okay.
All right. The number one song in America was Bills, Bills, Bills by Destiny's Child, which was, of course, Beyonce's first ever number one song. And I loved it.
That was her solo?
No, Destiny's Child. That was her group. Because Beyonce was in that group.
I know, but that was Destiny's Child's first number one hit.
Yeah, that was their first hit, period.
Bills, Bills, Bills?
Yeah. Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? Can you pay my automobile?
Yeah, I know it, but that's crazy.
But I just sung it perfectly.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Thank you. Just get laid after this podcast.
Did you not bring up the number one movie yet?
No. The number one movie in America was American Pie.
Yeah, awesome. Sarah had her time to shine. Now it's Allison's time.
And Mina. Imagine calling her Mina.
Yeah, Mina.
All right. Anyway, Number 2 was Wild Wild West, which had debuted during July 4th because he was Mr. July 4th at the time. Number 3 was Big Daddy. Number 4, Tarzan. Number 5, The General's Daughter. And the big release this week flopped, debuted at number 6, but I saw it in theaters. Arlington Road.
All right.
With Tim Robbins and I think Jeff Bridges. I don't know. Anyway, so what else happened? This was 3 days before JFK Jr.'s plane crashed. I could tell you that, and he died. That was a big deal at the time. I remember watching it from a hotel room. I don't know where I was, but I remember being in a hotel room for that.
Wow. He was in our Sexiest Man Alive tournament. I don't know how far he went, but remember that?
Yeah, that's right. And this was also
listen to that episode, guys. That's a fun episode.
That is fun. This was also the week before seminal moment in my life, Logan. Woodstock 99.
Yeah, your mom's life also.
That's true. When she saw Scott Stapp in his pants. Wrestling. The Bash at the Beach happened. WCW. They had a junkyard match, Logan, where they just put wrestlers in a junkyard, and they had like a helicopter camera swooping around. You like really couldn't see anything. It's a very weird match.
Okay.
Also, the No Limit Soldiers fought the West Texas Rednecks. Now, around this time, Kurt Hennig, aka Mr. Perfect, had started a faction, and their whole thing was that they hate rap music. All right, they recorded a country song called "Rap Is Crap" that I hope you're playing over this right now because it's an incredible song. And then they fought a bunch of people from the No Limit record label run by Master P at this pay-per-view. WCW was a mess at this time.
And then awesome.
Yeah, it was incredible. And Randy Savage walked away the champion after that pay-per-view, but then he lost the championship the very next night on Nitro to Hulk Hogan. And it is 1999. That's who WCW is making champions. Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Meanwhile, on Raw, a countdown clock debuts. And what's it counting down to? Nobody knows. It was a big mystery for a few weeks. And then in the middle of an episode of Raw, it counted down to 0, Logan. And you know what time it was?
Time to play the game?
No. Y.
Guess though, right?
2 J.
Yeah,
that's right.
Sense.
Chris Jericho came out. It was very exciting. All right.
Like this was his debut?
His WWE debut. Yeah.
Where was he originally?
He spent some time in WCW, spent some time in ECW, but WWE was really where he became big.
Okay. All right. That's very cool.
Yeah.
We just talked about him yesterday.
That's right. He was in Sharknado 3. Oh, hell no. Let's talk about this episode. Joss Whedon wrote and directed again. Graduation Day Part 2. Scrote them notes.
All right. Well, the first scene is what we already talked about, where the mayor's screaming at all his friends, like, "Go find Faith! Where is she? Where's Faith?" And so then we go to the library, right?
And I like that he's sort of like talking to himself. Like, she'll be all right. She'll be all right. Like, he's really trying to convince himself that everything's okay.
Yeah, and he was like trying to reassure me the same thing. I was so worried. I really have to be honest, and I'm still worried. Like I don't know. I don't want to say too much, but so we go to the library, right? And Cordelia shows up, and she's like, "Why does Wesley have to leave? You're here, Giles, and you're not the what do you call it? You're not the Watcher anymore. Why does Wesley have to leave?" And
yeah, you stuck around like a big loser.
Yeah, she insults him. And then we go, this is where everything happens. So Angel, and it kind of starts out weird, right? Willow is taking care of Angel, and he's like, "Hey, Buffy." He's like, thinks she's Buffy or something.
Yeah, I think Willow should have gone with it. Yeah, she lost her virginity. She's a sexual being now.
Yeah, for Oz, nobody else.
All right.
And so this is where we learn like Buffy comes in and she tells Angel, "Hey, just drink my blood," right?
Yeah, drink me.
Oh, there's actually
Which
one moment where Willow tells Oz, she's like, I feel bad because everyone else's life is going to shit, but I had the best night ever."
yeah. I also like the moment where Willow comes out and he goes and she says, like, Angel thought I was Buffy. And Oz goes, you too, huh? Implying that he did the same thing with Oz earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. They
That's
they
good.
do such a good job with Oz. Like he says, has he said more than like 30 words an episode? I'm not even sure. But
No, he's so quiet, but everything he says matters.
yeah, exactly. And so that's what happens. Buffy, Angel's like hesitant at first, but then Buffy sort of makes him drink her.
Well,
And
she punches until he like becomes his vampire self.
oh, right. Yeah, she makes him angry. And then so we go to the hospital, right?
Wait, what? You? That's the whole thing with that
Oh,
scene.
what? He drinks her. What else
One
is
of the
there?
most epic scenes in Buffy history. The way it's shot, it goes into slow motion. The
Her butt
music,
shot, right? We get a butt shot.
I didn't even notice, but the music is incredible. The score in this episode is amazing, and
Yeah.
the way like she's like just like on the ground, like succumbing to it, almost like she's being raped in that moment or something. She like grabs that metal jar and squeezes it or whatever just to like have something to grab onto. I love that scene. It's incredible. And the close-ups of Angel's teeth like entering her and the blood starting to pour down her shoulder. It's such an amazing scene. I mean, Joss Whedon really coming into his own as a director.
Yeah, I know, but also when I was watching it, I was just like, this is Josh trying to shoot this in like the most sex way possible.
So what?
I agree, but I guess that's why I didn't really have any thoughts on it because I was like, ho hum, this is Josh just like shooting wants to shoot it as like it's as if it's sex. But
Just
you're
because
right.
Joss Whedon has sexual improprieties doesn't mean like he didn't
I
have
know, I
interesting
know,
things to say about sex. And
I know.
yeah,
But I guess that's why I didn't really have that many thoughts on it. But you're right. But they go to the hospital and Buffy's laying there and Angel's there with Buffy. And then you go over to the other side and Faith's over there with the mayor. And but this is where I have a question because the mayor hears somebody say there's a girl over there that just had her blood drained. Or not, he doesn't hear they had their blood drained. That would be weird for somebody to say. But they hear like somebody lost a girl lost a lot of blood, right?
yeah.
And he automatically is like, that must be Buffy. Or like, is that Buffy? Like he has the look like, that might be Buffy.
Right.
And so that made me think that he did know about the cure and he
No, no,
knew
no, no, no,
that
no.
Buffy would be drained. No?
No, I think the idea is just that he knows that Buffy and Faith had this enormous knockdown, drag out fight that ended with the both of them like disappearing off the face of the earth. And so he assumed
Yeah.
that Buffy would also, if Faith is in the hospital, then surely Buffy will also show up in the hospital.
Okay. I think you're right. I think it just did like at this point I was like I had to question like who knows what about this cure. I was really confused about why he would do that. And I was trying to figure out if he knew something. And this sort of led me to believe maybe he did. But okay, I do think you're right. And so this was crazy. Mayor shows up and he's like trying to just flat out murder Buffy, trying to suffocate her right there.
Yeah.
And then Angel shows up and he stops her. They have sort of a cool fight. Mayor calls her a whore, or a slut, something
Yeah,
like that.
but I love how like terrifying the mayor is one moment, and then Angel like throws him across the room, and he gets up just like giggling in his fun mayor way.
Yeah,
Like he can like really change on a dime. That guy.
and he's invincible. He's just like having a good time right at this
Yeah.
point. And I thought this was very funny. Angel goes outside and he's telling him like, but hey, Buffy's gonna be okay. And Willow and Angel have this exchange where it's completely ADR. It's only for us so that we're
Really? I didn't notice this.
yeah, it's only for us so that like there's no confusion in the moment where Willow's like, Buffy's not gonna turn into a vampire, is she? And Angel goes, no, she never drank me at all. Something
Yeah,
like that.
that you're right. It was probably like an executive at the WB was confused and like Whedon was like, all right, I'll put in a line.
Yeah, because that is like a Buffy specific vampire rule, right?
Yes.
So I understand people because I might have been confused if I wasn't doing this Buffy podcast where I'd like that wasn't drilled into my head early on. I might have been like had the question too, but not watching it now as like for the podcast. I thought that was very funny. And so that Buffy then is this a dream that she has?
Yeah, I wrote about this is the thing I said I wrote like 20 pages on in my thesis.
Oh wow, I don't even. Well,
There's
she tells
a lot of fucking foreshadowing that like I can't tell you
like
about
pictures
now.
in the background and stuff.
Just lines that don't make sense in the moment. That it's really great.
Wow, I just remember her being like her telling her Buffy the thing about like the mayor's weaknesses or whatever. But
Yeah, well, that's all you're supposed to take from the scene in this episode. But on rewatches, it's an incredibly rich scene. There's
I'm not
going
gonna
to
go back because I don't want to know anything. But that's very cool.
I mean, just in terms of this episode, the behind them in that scene, there's a painting of a giant snake.
So I was right. Okay.
Setting that up. But the crucial line from this scene, like which I'll tell you, it doesn't because it won't make any sense to you, is Faith goes miles to go, little Miss Muffet counting down from 730. And you're like, what the fuck was that? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
But it means stuff.
All right, that's very cool. And then Buffy gets out of bed and she goes out to the lobby and she's like, I'm ready for war. And you're like, hell yeah, Buffy's back. And so this is where we learn the plan. I thought this was very fun how they do it. She tells the plan, and then I think it's Cordelia is like, that plan's crazy. And then Oz is like, what about hummus? That would be crazier.
Yeah. And then Cordelia has her own idea about Ebola. And Xander responds, the hummus offensive is starting to sound pretty good.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah. And I like this. They bring up that other moment. Was that a Joss episode? This one where Xander learned how to Halloween? Is that Joss?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, although they bring up the rocket launcher though, which is in Innocence, which is written and directed by Joss Whedon.
That's right. And I like this. Xander's really excited because Buffy tells him like he's gonna be like the key to everything in this plan, and he has to be the one that executes it all. And he was very excited. But then later they realize that they're doing it during like the eclipse, and Angel's like, now I'm in it, and Xander's like, what? I'm still like the key though, right? That's very cute. And so then. What happened? Oh, Wesley comes in. We thought Wesley was going to leave, but now he came back to help.
That's right.
I don't know what he did, really.
He immediately got clotheslined by a vampire and spent the rest of the episode on his ass.
Oh, yeah, because then he gets stretchered out at the very end. Yeah, I remember that. And so then we like cut back to the mayor's plan. Mayor tells all of his guys like, I'm gonna give the speech, then the eclipse is gonna happen, and I'm gonna ascend. And in the meantime, I like this actually. He was like, I have to eat after it happens, so you guys are gonna kill everybody and then pile up bodies for me to eat. And he's like, but don't eat them yourself. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, no snacking.
Yeah, this is for me. And then he says, watch the swearing. That was also very good. Watch the swearing. Here we go. Cordelia and Wesley time. This made sense to me. They get up. It's like a dramatic moment. He's like, well, guess I have no reason to stay. I'm not the watcher and I don't have any friends or nobody to care for. So go back to England. And then they big makeout session, and then like a few times they like make out and then they stop and then they make out, and like during it you're
trying.
Like, yeah, during it you're like, this is fucking weird, right? This something feels weird, right? You felt that, right?
Of course.
And then they stop, and she's like, "All right, good luck, good luck with your future endeavors." And I thought all of that made a lot of sense to me. What do you think?
Yeah. I think that's the right way to end that storyline.
Yeah, I really thought it was good. And then more action goes on. We get first Jonathan and Larry show up to the van, to the Dingo's van, and Oz gives them some equipment or whatever.
Yeah, you also see them recruiting Harmony and Percy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Harmony in both these episodes.
all are
Percy too.
recurring. Well, I Harmony, of course, I've said think is one of the people who might have fucked Joss.
Oh, I
But
forget that. Yeah.
yeah, but we get a lot of our recurring Sunnydale High characters in these episodes, like to close the book on a few of them and maybe set up a few of them for later shit.
Like Anya, I hope. But
Yeah.
so but then it's Oz and it's Willow, and they're in the van, and they're like, I wonder how much time we have before this graduation has to happen. And then I wonder what they end up doing. And then so Angel,
I think what happened was Oz got hard and then stuck his dick into Willow.
so then Angel has this moment with Buffy where he says, "Buffy, I'm not going to tell you goodbye after the graduation. I'm just going to leave. You're not going to know what happened. I'm just going to walk off into the sunset."
But maybe
like,
I'll stand there for a while and stare at you first.
Yeah. What else are you going to do? That was such a great moment. I feel like I've seen that
Nothing to be
actually.
said.
When that happened, I was like, I've seen that image of like Angel by the fire truck and the smoke walk away.
Yeah.
I've seen that before, which is crazy. I never thought about it, but it's cool. And so here we go. Is this we go to the graduation?
Sure.
All right. Faith. Oh no. The Buffy pulls out that knife that she stabbed Faith with, and it was still bloody. I thought that was crazy. She didn't wipe the blood off.
Yeah. Well, they had to remind you that that's the knife she stabbed her with.
What? It's such a unique knife. How would we not notice?
I know. I agree.
That was crazy. Like, especially because
you going straight to the fight.
Well, especially because she thinks of Faith as like kind of like a sister, kind of, and like, why would she want to be like walking around with Faith's blood on that? I feel like that would be like an immediate thing. If you kill somebody close to you, you would wipe the blood off. You wouldn't want to walk. I don't know.
I think this is all your years of watching Scream movies.
Yeah, I was waiting for the wipe. It didn't happen, but yeah.
That's the best part of Scream 6, of course, the double wipe.
You think that's actually the best part? It might be.
It's one of the only parts I like.
It might be. All right. What else do you have before graduation?
No, just like the mayor gives his speech. I like them saying like he's gonna read the whole speech. Evil.
Yeah, that was funny. Like the whole time they've been wanting to like not ascend, and now they're just like fucking get to it already.
Yeah, totally. And I actually like the way the transformation looks. Like before he's the giant snake, like when his head starts popping out and shit. That's wild looking. It looks almost like stop motion or something.
You know what I like? I like I think it's Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. They zoom into Lupin's eye, and then they zoom out, and he's the werewolf. I think that's what happens. I think that's a pretty cool way to do it.
Yeah. Easy.
Or Van Helsing, the transformation in Van Helsing where he rips his own skin off.
You're really hitting all your bases. You made a Van Helsing reference, a Diary of a Wimpy Kid reference, a Camp Rock reference. Where's 13 Reasons Why? Are we gonna get to that?
No, I'll say that for Mission Impossible. Just kidding. But all right, so he turns into a big worm dinosaur monster.
We'll talk about the fucking whole graduating class taking out their shit.
Well, I don't do that until he turns into the giant worm monster.
I guess you're right.
So then they take out all their weapons, and they have like flamethrowers and bows and arrows and all sorts of stuff. And I have questions about who all dies, okay?
Yeah.
So Snyder dies, right?
Snyder is eaten by the mayor. He's dead.
Yeah, very sad. There was a moment, by the way, in the last episode where the mayor was like getting a tour around the school, and he was like, "We're gonna pay you well for everything you've done." And then he dies, right? Didn't that happen?
Yeah. Yeah,
That was
just
kind of sad.
jumps him down. I like Snyder though. Like he loses his mind during this, and he's like yelling at the giant snake to like, "Hey, I need order."
Yeah, didn't work. And then what happens with Harmony? Did Harmony die?
We see Harmony get bitten by a vampire. You can assume what you want.
I don't fucking know. That's why I was asking you. Well, I
Yeah,
thought I was gonna get clarification, but I guess I'll find out in
we
the
get
future. I assume
we,
not.
we
I
we
assume she'll
get
come back.
we
All
get
right.
clarification on Harmony pretty soon, so I won't say anything.
Okay. And then Larry, we had a question, and then the question it said Larry died, and one of my questions was, does Larry die? Because I could not
That
tell.
Yeah, Larry's dead.
Okay. It seemed like he
You
just
hear
got
his
sort of
you hear
kicked
his
over.
neck. Yeah, but you hear his neck snap.
Oh, that was a neck snap.
Yeah.
Damn, damn. All right. R.I.P. Larry. That was very sad.
Yeah. I hate seeing Larry go. Larry's great.
Yeah. Our only so far gay character.
Right, so far.
One is probably bisexual, I guess. The so that's what happens, and then Buffy, I like this moment. She calls the mayor a dick. That was a great part. And then
Well, also
she
his name is Richard Wilkins. That's how they got away with that.
mm,
Yeah.
great point. His name is Richard Wilkins. And they even say that at the graduation. They're like, come out, Richard Wilkins. And I was like, oh, is that his name? But I think I'd heard that before. I think maybe you'd said that. But yeah, she calls him Dick. That was great. That was great. In that moment, I didn't even think about that. That's great.
Yeah.
And so he goes through the library and he goes, well, gosh. And then library blows up and it's awesome.
Yeah. One other moment I like during that fight, by the way, is Cordelia stakes a vampire for the first time.
Yeah, that was really cool. I liked that.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, but that was cool. They like every episode, they always they plan in the library, and then they fucking blew it up at the end of the season. I thought that was awesome.
It's like they're blowing up the entire show, getting ready for a new start.
Yeah, what you know of Buffy is no more, basically.
Yeah.
And so then afterward, we get a little bit of aftermath, right? We get Wesley being carried off, and we get Angel standing over there by the fire truck, walks into the distance. Very sad.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll be back on Buffy at some point in the future, I assume. You have to assume. And this was nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to assume. Giles gives Buffy her diploma, which I thought was a nice moment.
It was. And I love, like, it's funny. Like, fire bad, tree pretty. Like, she can't understand what Giles is saying in that moment, but it's pretty profound. I love Giles in that moment.
Yeah, me too. This was, well, I was gonna say my favorite Giles season, but it's interesting because last season he had a girlfriend, and this season, like, he got fired from his job, and he sort of took a back seat. But he's become like such a father figure.
Exactly. I think last season Giles's closest relationship was with Miss Calendar, and this season it was as a father figure to Buffy, and that's really intense and fascinating.
Yeah, that's so good. And so there we go. They all Buffy has a line. I wrote this down because Green Day might have came up with a song based on a line in this movie. She says, "Wake me up when like it's time for college or whatever." And that's in September usually. College, right? August, September, somewhere. So I think "Wake me up when September ends." I think they were thinking about that line, and they were like, he was like had a melody, and he was trying to think of like what September. I think that's where he got there. I do think this is it, so I want to flag that up.
Wake me up when college starts.
No, that's not good. And then he's like keeps working.
Right. He workshopped it a little bit after that.
He finally got to it. But, so there you go. I think that's what happened. And so here we go. I thought this was very funny. Oz is the one. He's like, guys, we survived high school. And he survived 5 whole years of it. So I thought that was good to give him that line. Yeah. And then they pan down and we see like the yearbook. And then
which you could buy after this episode came out, and I did.
It had like their actual, like all their class photos in it.
Yeah, it had pictures of them all. It had like you could see all the sports teams. Like there was the swim team, and they showed like some people from Go Fish.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like this commemorative thing. I loved it.
Wentworth was in the photo.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Imagine calling like, "Hey Wentworth, come here. What do you want for dinner,
Yeah.
Wentworth?" Oh
Yeah,
man.
it had a an in memoriam section for some of like the staff members that had been killed.
Wow. I love
Yeah,
that.
it was
Um,
awesome.
all right. So I will give it a 4.
5.
Yeah. My MVP, I gotta go Buffy. I've definitely spread it out though, like way more than I stay true to what I believe. I don't just give it to Buffy just because.
I
She's
know, I
great.
know. She is great. I'm gonna go Buffy too.
Okay, okay. And my LVP, I wrote Faith only because she's just in the hospital bed the whole time.
But the dream sequence,
That didn't hit as hard for me, obviously. I
right?
was just like, oh, she's just telling her the thing. But who else do you go with? I don't want to go Cordelia. I don't want to go Willow. I don't want to go Oz. I don't want to go Wesley. I don't want to go to Xander. I don't want to go the mayor. Mayor gets kind of dumb, but he's so good giving the speech and everything leading
Yeah,
up to it.
exactly.
I think I'm gonna go Faith. I'm sorry.
Nah, I don't have an OVP for this one, man. Like,
Larry?
can I just go with like the special effects on the fucking snake?
Harmon? Yeah. I mean that's what I would go with if I was actually giving an LVP of this episode. I would go that because that's the thing that just really didn't work for me. And that line of dialogue where he's like, "Well, gosh, this is
Yeah,
stupid."
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um,
Whoever came up with that graphic for the snake.
yeah, it just doesn't really work. It's probably not exactly what they imagined. Um, I want to give a special shout out MVP though to Christoph Beck, the dude who scores the music for Buffy, because I think this episode has some of his best themes ever. The score during the dream sequence is gorgeous, and the score when like Buffy is laying out her plan is so ridiculously badass that like you could put it in like an action movie today and it would become an instant classic.
That's cool. I feel like the MCU has made that bad. How like there's no individuality with superhero music anymore.
Yeah.
Like everything is just like the
And almost
Avengers
everything's a
theme.
superhero movie, so everything sounds kind of the same.
There are no great new action character themes. Um, the that's good. Was that in your list? And you say you made a ranking of the like when you wrote for the newspaper or whatever your score?
I actually don't think it was, but
Wow.
it was only a top 5 list. But it's I mean
Now
that's
you would have
great.
ranked every single score that they ever came out with.
I know.
You
That's
were
what I
so
do.
you were so
High
young.
voltage, baby.
The all right. Well, I rank this one fourth place. I'm just gonna put it right under part one.
Put it for me right above part 1. So it'll be what for 4th place, and part 1 will be 5th place.
Yeah, we both have it fourth, but we flip where we have part one. That's cool.
Yeah.
And so there we go. I think I like part two or season two
You like
more.
okay, so you're gonna rank them 2, 3, 1?
I think the part of this season that or one of the things I like more about season two was the Buffy and Angel relationship. I think was better in season two. This season I didn't quite understand it as much. I know they're like, I guess just like magnetic forces that can't stay away from each other. That's the point of the whole thing, I guess.
Yeah,
But
it's that's set up in Lovers Walk. Like Spike says you'll never be friends.
yeah, and that's my favorite episode. So I guess that should or second favorite episode. But the in season two, everything was just firing on all cylinders. I was really discovering who Angel was in season two. And then when everything happened, when he turned bad, I really worked. The end of season two was so good. This one was too, but I think I just like season two a little more.
I think here's the thing. My take is season 2 has higher highs. Miss Calendar's death, the big finish to the season, the emotionality of Angel becoming Angelus, the introduction of Spike and Drusilla in School Hard.
Oh yeah,
Like the
Spike
high,
Drusilla was such a big part of season 2, and she's not here at all.
right. The highs in season 2 are so high. The reason I rank season 3 ahead of season 2 is only that I think episode to episode it's more consistent. Season 2 has some like duds and some ones that don't hold up, and there's none of that in season 3.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But I guess you can, if I bring up Drusilla, you can say season 3 has Faith, and that's great also.
Season 2 doesn't have Faith.
Yeah, so I think it's really close, but I think season 2 had my heart a little more. But
that's fair.
So there you go, season 2 over season 3. But I got break up 2, 3, 1. There you go. Oh, let's read our Patreon things, right? Let me refresh.
Yes.
Maybe we got a secret third one. Thank you guys for leaving comments all season. We appreciate it. Josh Merlis says hot stuff between Cordy and Wesley. I don't think that was the point of it. He says the mayor is obviously great in these. Giles is very cool in the scene where Wesley's threatening to inform the council. Amazing moment when they revealed that they were all going to fight. Really lame last words from the demon mayor. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's all accurate.
Really lame. The Josh Merlis is watching for the first time.
Yeah.
Well,
and he bought
up last week,
and he bought a used copy of Angel on DVD so he could watch Angel with us too.
Oh, is Angel not streaming anywhere?
No, I think it is. Josh lives in Germany, so the situation's a little different. Yeah.
You mean Mike Sorrentino?
The situation? Oh, I get right.
All right. So Alex Ruderman says, "I'm sad Larry died," and I was like, "What? Larry died?" And it says, "Is this a man or a woman?" I'm sorry.
Alex Ruderman? I believe it's a man.
So I guess there's a profile picture that I could zoom in on. And same thoughts on the mayor. Really fun couple of episodes, but bad last lines. I agree. Nobody likes those last lines.
Well, is he referring to those lines or
I think so,
or the lines that the Scooby Gang said?
No, he says same thoughts on the mayor. Really fun couple of episodes, but bad last lines. I think that's about the mayor.
Oh, okay.
Excited to see what happens with Faith now that the mayor is out. Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with Faith. I don't want to get too excited and then Faith what's her name, Eliza Dushku, get booked for something and they just kill her off between seasons. That would upset me because they can really do anything. I don't know what the hell is going to happen, and I don't want to say too much because obviously you know what's going to happen. But thank you, Alex and Josh and Angelica and everybody else who left us stuff.
Mikey,
thank you guys.
Everybody who's yeah. Thanks for listening, gang.
We're about to do another thing. I forgot what we're about to do.
Well, next week on this show, we're going to start splitting up. It's going to be one episode of Buffy, one episode of Angel for the next couple seasons. That's going to take us a while. So next week, I just want to say, watch the Buffy ones first. Because they aired Tuesday at 8 was Buffy, Tuesday at 9 was Angel. So if they ever interact, you're supposed to have watched the Buffy first.
But you'll tell me if there's any change.
I'll tell you if there's any change. But for now, that's how it's going to be. Next week, watch season 4, episode 1 of Buffy, entitled The Freshman. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to guess that Xander makes it into school, but nobody else does.
And
Xander is the titular freshman.
All right, and the Angel episode is season 1, episode 1, the pilot. It's called City of.
I'm gonna guess he moves to Los Angeles.
Right? That's a good guess.
Yeah, there we go. All right, I'm very excited. It has worried me a bit though, because it's going to take so long to get through the episodes. Like, think about it. We would just now be finishing season. We would be just now halfway through season 2, basically.
Yeah, we would have just watched the episode this week where with Zachary Kralik, where Buffy doesn't have her powers, and that feels like forever ago.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
Yeah. But so that worries me a little bit. Not that I'm gonna like fall off the show, but I'm like I love just chugging along, and I don't want to wait. But that's I don't
want to wait. All right.
All right. By the way, Angel's on Hulu for anybody that is wondering. So same as Buffy if you've been watching on Hulu.
Great. Look forward to it. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on Angel. I think this will be really, really fun. It'll take longer, but I still think we're gonna have a lot of fun doing it.